with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
This summer, if you're thinking of a new building, think Olympic Buildings. They're engineered from top to bottom to be better than the rest. Strength, solid design, and impressive good looks are all standard on an Olympic farm building. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
Easy to use, tough to beat. Kubota's compact tractors are perfect for fall and winter jobs with attachments to do it all year long. Right now, get financing as low as 0% on select models. See your Kubota dealer for details.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
On Roughriders, plunge right through that line. March the ball on down the field, a touchdown every time.
That's good stuff right there. That is good stuff right there. What was that? Was that 1940s, 1950s? Do you got a date on when that one was? I like Go Roughriders. I feel like I need one of those tailored suits and some really baggy wide leg pants. Luke Mullender is going to come on right away. I think he really likes that tune. It's one of Luke's favorite rider tunes right there. It is the Sports Cage Friday for Nelson Homes. RTMs and home packages for over 65 years. It is game day. Riders in Calgary. Let's go right here on the station. We're only here for an hour and a half, then we're handing it off to Justin Dunk and Wes Cates. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, thank you very much. And as always, we're on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Luke Mullender is standing by. He's going to join us from the hotel in Calgary before they head to the stadium in Calgary, and we'll talk about the game. What are Luke's keys? Always like that, and getting inside his head. WHL regular season opens up today, as does the SJHL. We're going to run down the games in that and tell you about the teams in the area, that's for sure. Hour 2, we have Farhan Lalji joining us on a Friday. Farhan, we're going to talk CFL with him, along with some NFL. And Marc Mueller, we're going to hear an interview from him as well. So we've got an hour and a half, jam-packed show, all new Sports Cage. Let's go out right now on that Western Pizza guest hotline. It's always an awesome night, especially Fridays for Western Pizza. All the generous amount of toppings and all the Greek favorites that you like. Visit your Western Pizza today. Luke Mullender, color commentator, that will be on the airwaves here in mere hours. Joining us, like I said, from Calgary, the hotel. Luke, I'm gonna talk to Farhan about this later as an outsider looking in. You usually shoot it pretty straight. If must win is right here, are we like right next to must win game for the Riders, whatever the closest to that is?
You're above it. You're above it. This is playoff football right now. I think that the Riders have to understand that because of the parity in the Western Conference, because of the ability for Hamilton to also win out, and I don't think there's going to be a crossover scenario. But right now, I mean, there's clearly all sorts of openings for something crazy to happen. I think that you're in win or go home territory, and it just going home just is delayed by the fact that you've got to finish out your schedule. So. That's a good sense of urgency to have, though. I think that, especially with the Calgary Stampeders, it's the first time you've seen them all year, and they're a little bit like the Saskatchewan Roughriders, to be honest with you. But you've got to get this one. So from now on, I think that you have to have that win or go home mentality, and just understand that if you don't win, you might not be going home right then, but you'll be going home as soon as the last regular season game's done.
I'm sure you're going to talk about it a lot, and people hear you on the airwaves. I want to get your take on it. Armstead in, Hickson out. Cause for concern at all for you, or do you like the move?
No, I like Raquel Armstead. He's a tough runner. I think that one of the things that I really like is actually the fact that, it's not just about Armstead. I think they're going to be a little bit more multiple in the way they can attack an opponent this week with the absence of Clint Ratkovic. One of the keys, if you were going to ask me here this game, I was going to say is you've got to be a little bit, you got to try to find a way to be a little bit more multiple in the way you can attack on the ground. And I think that, the Riders had been very sort of, I wouldn't say predictable, but it's a good word in this case. When, for instance, Clint Ratkovic was on the field, they barely passed out of the set, the 24 personnel set. Now that he's not on the field, I think it forces Marc Mueller to figure out a different run strategy, and I like that. And I like Raquel Armstead because you don't know necessarily what you're going to do. I thought Frankie Hickson played well. The problem with Frankie Hickson is the same problem with AJ Ouellette. Unfortunately, the Riders just haven't managed to establish a ton of consistency when it comes to the three-phase aspect of the game, right? The offense can't get momentum, for instance, if the defense is on the field all the time, things like that. So I like Raquel Armstead. Again, he's a hard runner, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he does today.
Just maybe expand on that from a defensive side of the ball, a guy that's actually played the games, because we're getting text messages all week. Why are they doing this? This guy's not that good. Da, da, da. A guy that played the game, and I always like to go there, and your eyeballs and stuff that the regular Joe Blows out there don't see with Armstead. What is it?
Cool. Well, again, I'm not necessarily sure that he has an outstanding characteristic, right? I just think that he's a guy who's going to go and get you some tough yards. It's not necessarily about the running back that's back there, though, for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, unfortunately. They've just got to find a way to manufacture drives, right? And, again, I don't think that's going to be on Raquel Armstead. I think that he's going to be a good back between the tackles. But, again, you've got to figure out, right? You've got to figure out a way to talk a team out of taking something away from you, right? And that's why I like the fact that Clint Ratkovic's not going to be on the field because, again, he was really predictable. Now, does Albert Awachi just come in and replace Ratkovic in that offense to where if you're in 24 personnel, the likelihood of the Saskatchewan Roughriders running the ball is really high, right? That's, from my perspective, that's where you can really get a leg up on the team is if they're not able or they're really predictable in certain formations, right? That's how you beat them. It's not necessarily about forcing a guy in a certain direction or blitzing from a certain angle. Realistically is if I know that when a fullback comes in, there's a 90% chance you're going to run the football, then guess what I'm going to do, Barney? I'm going to sit there and I'm going to make you beat me off the line of scrimmage, right? So the fact that Clint Ratkovic's not on the field today actually puts a little bit of question into the Calgary Stampeders. Like, okay, well, how do they look at Awachi? Or like, hey, are we going to see a lot more of a Joe in and around the line of scrimmage? Are we going to see a lot more Sam Emilus? So again, I don't think it's a one-person approach. I think that's probably the way you actually don't get too much consistency on offenses. If you say, okay, we need to get the ball in this guy's hands.
More importance for you offensively, is it protecting Harris, letting him sit back there, because he can sling it, just like most quarterbacks, but he can dissect the defense from what we've seen if he's got the time? Or is it more important to establish the running game?
I think that the first and foremost thing is you got to protect your quarterback, right? And I think that if I'm Marc Mueller and the Saskatchewan Roughriders this game, I go into it and say, on a 1st and 10 down or a possession and 10 down, what is the biggest thing, we've talked about on our broadcast, Barney? It's the Riders need to get themselves in 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, right? Yeah. That's been the biggest problem. A lot of the times the Riders have had their problems. They've been in 2nd and 7 or beyond. And that's just not conducive, especially the way Trevor Harris wants to get the ball out. Then you got to really focus on getting Trevor Harris. So the reason why I say that is you say, okay, well, you know what? If I've got Raquel Armstead and I got a quarterback that's really good at throwing the ball quickly and into spots, let's take advantage of that. Let's go back and forth on that to get those 5-6 yards on first down. That's the key for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This game and for the rest of the game, they've got to start having consistent success on first down. And when you have a quarterback like Trevor Harris that's able to get the ball out quick, you just got to figure a way through there.
Second and manageable. Yeah, you guys talk about it,
That's it
all the time. That's like, yeah. And then it's so key. Okay, defensive side of the ball. Should we be worried that Roland Milligan Jr. isn't in the lineup?
Well, if any team has one of the best pound-for-pound players on in the CFL on their team, and he's not out there, it's cause for concern, right? So
yeah.
I would say yes, especially when you have Amari Henderson going in there at that halfback, that boundary halfback spot. Amari Henderson, since he's been back and on the roster, he's been a little bit inconsistent, right? So you're going to really need Amari Henderson to respond well. I think that the rest of the secondary is going to be okay. Marcus Sales, DeMarcus Fields, and Deontay Williams, I felt they played well all year, but that's going to be a big question mark, because the other piece about not having Milligan in the game today is you also don't have him on special teams, and he's tremendously productive on special teams, and that's why, I mean, he gets my Chip Cox Award for the Canadian Football League this year. He's one of the best overall players in the league, and he reminds me a lot of Chip Cox, a guy that's able to make plays on defense and a guy who is going to be absolutely brutal to manage on special teams, so it's a huge loss.
The Henderson thing does bother me because the two games that I watched live and in person, I felt it was Montreal and I think it was Winnipeg, right, that they were picking on him, that they saw something that they could go after him, and that happens in football. That is part of the game. That is the chess match. You're looking for those matchups. When you look at the Calgary Stampeders, Luke, what worries you about what they're going to throw at us offensively? Is there anything there?
You know what? I'm going to take what you just said, and I'm gonna support that. I think when you look at Omari Henderson, he's on the boundary half. You look at their offense and you look at last game versus Montreal. Yeah, they tied that game. They didn't win it, but one of the guys that you knew was going to get the football in some way, shape, or form was Reggie Bagleton. So then you look down and you say, wow, it looks like Omari Henderson and Reggie Bagleton are going to be matched up quite a few times here in this game. So that's an important matchup that you have to look at. I think that when you're Calgary, that's why I said there's a little similar to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. In order to have success, Jake Mayer is going to have to get the ball out early, right? If the longer he holds it, the more prone he is to throwing a turnover. And, why not throw it to a guy like Marc Mueller and Reggie Bagleton? Especially, here's the other thing, too. Everybody else watches film, right? So what you see, right, Shink, what you saw out of Amari Henderson on a bad day is exactly what the Calgary Stampeders have on film too. So, when you go in there and you say, okay, well, here's how we can attack this team. Let's see if we can get anything on that boundary half because 16 slotted in there. The positive thing about number 16 being slotted in is he is a veteran. And you know what? He has played really good football in spots for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So you would just assume that he had to focus this week on being that guy versus the guy that might have been a liability.
The Craig Dickinson aspect of all this, again, a guy that's been in the locker room, he's playing his former team, whatever happened here. There are definitely going to be guys in that locker room that are playing for coach. We got to play for coach in this one. Let's win this one for the coach, right? Against his former team. How much does that play into it? With the Calgary Stampeders, a little bit?
Zero.
Okay.
Yeah, zero. You know what? I think that it's a nice thought. You go into it and you say, man, yeah, we're going to win this for coach, right? But even with a great guy like Coach Miller, we never went into any game having the number one priority be win it for Coach Miller. You know what I mean? Because you've got so many more things to focus on. I think that one of the things that Calgary does in terms of Coach Dickinson being in that locker room is they say, look, man, this is a coach that probably got a little bit of a bad reputation because as a head coach, he didn't amount to a lot. But we got to remind this whole world that he was a great special teams coach. He was one of the best special team coordinators in this league. He's teamed up with Marc Mueller. He's an advisor to the staff. Let's go out and put a holistic effort. Because here's the other thing. Here's the other reason why it means zero. Because Calgary's as desperate as Saskatchewan. This is two very desperate teams today. And, man, I'll tell you what, the weather it's shaping up. It looks a little bit better than it looked this morning. There's going to be a ton of energy in the building. But, again, Barney, I'm really serious, man. It's you've got to have that win or go home attitude because this is an absolutely critical game.
Should people start freaking out and yelling outside of their houses if we don't start quick? Like, is the quick start in this game that important, or is it let's just stay packed and trust the process?
Dude, you should be in the booth doing the color commentary because you're bang on. Yeah, like you're bang on. It's you've got to start fast here. You're coming off a bye week. This team in Calgary, there's going to be a lot more fans there than they normally are used to seeing. That's just what happens when Saskatchewan plays you in their building. But you have to come out strong. You have to come out quick, right? Especially when you're looking at a team that can go downhill very quickly in the Calgary Stampeders, right? You get one or two turnovers early, and they're going to go right downhill where the Saskatchewan Roughriders want them. So you're exactly right, man. They have to start fast. It's a huge emphasis today.
I always say you're the best dressed color analyst in the CFL. Shout out Colin O'Brien's. Any kind of cowboy boots today or anything like that, Luke, or no?
Oh, man, you know what? With the fall weather, I've elected to go with comfort. And I'm planning on a hard fought game. I'm pretty excited about this game, man. So I need to be loose. I don't need, you know what I mean. And I'm going to be honest with you. The last couple of weeks, I've kind of fallen off I've seemed to just sort of fallen off the nutritional aspect of my life. It's been great. All I've been doing is eating pizza and drinking soda. So the clothes are fitting a little more tighter, man. I'm pumped up about this game, but I'm going to be looking good. And me and Dave, we take pride in our look.
Yeah. Hey, you got to live too, right? You don't eat you don't want to eat like a rabbit. You got to enjoy yourself, right? Western pizza
dude,
all
when
the
you were
time.
talking about that when you talking about that Western pizza, man, whew, I can't wait to give me some of that. You go get some wings with that too.
All right, have a good call. I'm excited. Everyone's excited for this one, Luke. Always a blast, and let's see how it shakes down. Win or go home mentality, man. Let's do it. Right on. Best dressed for sure. Color man in the CFL, probably the best color man. Luke Mullender. Oh, geez, Louise. It is. He said it's above must win. Whatever above must win is. So, pregame show starts right here on 620 CKRM. Justin Dunk, West Cates. They're getting ready as we speak. They're starting at 4:30. Luke and Dave come on at 6 o'clock. It is the all-new Sportscage. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com. And as always, on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Liquor Stores. Now open in Harbor Landing and Rochdale Boulevard.
I give it top marks.
An A+.
It's a 10 out of 10 for sure.
The $10 sale is on now.
At Sherwood Co-op Food Stores.
Offering more local products than any other grocery store.
And for this week only,
the brands your family craves at amazing stock your pantry prices.
Like $10 a pound.
2 items for $10.
5 items for $10.
Or an amazing 10 items for $10.
Stock your pantry. Save your cash.
The $10 sale on now till Wednesday.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
In town, at the cabin, or on the farm. Only one rural internet provider brings you a whole home solution. Access Rural Internet now offers download and upload speeds up to 350 megs for one low price. Plus, keep entertained with Access Next TV Stream and keep an eye on your home and property with Access Rural Security, each for just $14.95 a month extra. Get more from your rural internet service. Visit myaccess.ca today.
For pizza lovers who are short on time and hungry for a great deal, Little Caesars Pizza is ready when you are. Walk in, grab your hot and ready favorites, and walk out. It's just that easy. Try the classic hot and ready medium pepperoni pizza for only $7.99. You get a delicious quality pizza at a great price. It's available all day, every day for just $7.99 at Little Caesars. And try other hot and ready favorites like their iconic Crazy Bread or Caesar Wings. Little Caesars Pizza, 20 years of hot and ready.
Howdy, Wood Country Woody again. I gotta tell you, when I first learned TimberTech composite decking material is super low maintenance, well, that pretty much sealed the deal right there. I'd rather sit on my deck than sand it, tell you what. But TimberTech composite decking material also comes with tons of pretty colors and features a sweet little hidden fastener system. When you need pretty and pretty easy to build with, it's TimberTech from Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale.
When the outdoorsman in you is itching to get back out on the hunt, look no further than TNT Gunworks, your local Vortex Optics dealer. All Vortex products, including scopes, rangefinders, and binoculars, all come with a VIP no-fault warranty for life, which means the best warranty in the game for the peace of mind that you need. Vortex stands behind their product 100%. The TNT service department will do all installation of your Vortex Optics free of charge. Check out the wide variety of Vortex scopes, binoculars, rangefinders, accessories, and more. TNT Gunworks Regina.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Strasbourg, Last Mountain Lake area, call Dean at Solid Works Carpentry or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
No dugout in the pasture? You could move the cows or just put the water where the cows are. With a Keln Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. If your cows are over here, put your Keln Solar Livestock Watering System over here. If they're over there, put it over there. If the cows are on the roof, you have weird cows. Learn more about the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
Fall is here and the water is fine. Water Vision Pool and Spas in Moose Jaw is your one-stop destination to relaxation. After a busy summer, the showroom is now fully restocked with hot tubs and accessories. In stock right now, brand new hot tubs starting at only $97.50. You won't find a deal like this anywhere. Once harvest is over, it's time to relax in your brand new Hydro Pool hot tub from Water Vision in Moose Jaw. Get in today while the selection is at its best. The water is calling. Maybe you should answer. Water Vision Pool and Spas, High Street, Moose Jaw.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. All new Sports Cage on Friday. Abbreviated Sports Cage today for Nelson Homes. We're only here till 4:30. Then we're handing it off. Rider Radio. Justin Dunk and Wes Cates. Let's shift it for a bit here to hockey. And the Western Hockey League opens up this evening around the province, around the league. Regina Pats are in PA to take on the Raiders. If you went to sportscage.com or if you have gone to sportscage.com recently, you got the power rankings there. We talked about it a bit yesterday. You know, where do the Pats fall this year? I think the Pats are a playoff team, personally. A lot of people don't. But the power rankings on there, Medicine Hat should be the team to beat. That's what everyone's saying. So Pats are in PA tonight. Moose Jaw travels to Brandon. Good test there right out of the gate against the Wheat King Swift Current. If you're in that area in the Southwest, the Broncos are hosting Saskatoon. Pats home openers tomorrow night here in Regina. And puck drops on Saturday. They've shifted things. So if you got a young family, and it always was a little bit, too late, the 7 o'clock start to get everyone going, now it's perfect. Puck drops on Saturday, 6 p.m. The tailgate tomorrow, if you got a ticket, you want to go to this. We talked about it yesterday. Get yourself a pork missile and a puck. They got pop, water, chips, Justin LeBrash playing music. The mascots are going to have more than just canine there. Mascot. And autographs from the Pats as well. So that's 3 to 5 tomorrow at the ITC Hall A, so the International Trade Center, right next-ish to the Brandt Center, 3 to 5. If you got a ticket, burger, hot dog, pop, chips, go and enjoy it. It's the home opener tailgate, and again, puck drop is 6 p.m. in Regina tonight. We can't sleep on the SJHL. We talked about that as well. Sportscage.com this week. The SJHL Power Rankings. Benny Walchuk's all over it. Covers the league. Knows it inside and out. Tonight in the SJHL, we got Estevan welcoming Melville. Yorkton home. Their home opener against Weyburn. I know a lot of people going to that in the Yorkton area. That should be a good one. Nipawin is in Flin Flon. Kindersley in the Battlefords. And Melfort making the trip into LA to take on the Wolves in Larange. SJHL action, WHL action starting tonight. Sportscage going to be all over it. Looking forward to seeing how the season goes for a number of teams. And as always, chime in. What do you think? Where do you think the Western Hockey League's Eastern Division is going to fall this year? Are the Pats going to make the playoffs? Are the Warriors? What are the Warriors? What kind of season we're going to have with the Warriors there? Prince Albert, Saskatoon. Saskatoon's in a bit of a rebuild. Brandon is going to be strong. I think a lot of people, myself included, I think if anybody can knock off, upset Medicine Hat this year, it is going to be Roger McQueen and those Brandon Wheat Kings led by Marty Murray. Back to football. Jeez. Playoff atmosphere. That's what everyone's saying. Jameer Thurman from the Riders, Dave Thomas, had a chat with him, and he talks about it. It's just the postseason feel for the Riders.
Jameer, there's all kinds of importance on this game. Would you say that this is a playoff game given the record of the two teams coming in?
I think the rest of the season is playoffs for both teams, especially for us. We know how important this game is going to be for us, and we just got to go out there and execute and come away with the win.
Obviously, you want to come away with a different result. Does that mean that you go with a different approach leading up to the game, or do you remain consistent?
I don't think you need to change too much. There's one thing here and there, that you can do. And as far as preparation, I'm a little superstitious, so I've switched up things a little bit, but not too much. I feel like we are pretty dialed in, and guys are locked into what it needs to be. I think we just need to go out there and fly around and get back to doing what we were doing early in the year, and that's how we were able to come away with the wins.
You won't have Roland Milligan Jr. in your defensive huddle. What does that mean?
I think it's going to be good. We have a great communication with our guys in the back end, and so I think we're going to be fine. Everybody knows their role. Everybody knows the defense. We just got to go out there, communicate. Of course, guys are in different spots that haven't been before, but we go out there and communicate. There shouldn't be a lapse at all.
The game obviously has ebbs and flows, different momentum. How do you switch momentum on your favor if you start to see it slipping from one side of the ball or the other?
Well, I've talked to a lot of guys on our defense, and we got to get back to getting turnovers. I think when we get that, it will change the outcome of the game.
How do you get those turnovers then? It's easy to say it, hard to do.
Absolutely, it is. But you got to have a sense of urgency, and we try to instill that throughout practice, having a sense of urgency on everything you do, because that stuff carries over. And then when you have that mindset going into the game, you find a way to get the ball.
I would suggest that the leadership group and this team was tested in preparing for this week with what happened. Can you tell me a little bit about what you feel or how you feel this team is at and where the mindset is at coming in?
I think our mindset is good. I think whatever happened throughout the week, it was much needed. But at the same time, this is just another game. You can't make it bigger than what it is. You got to go out there and execute like you do every single week. Don't make things bigger than what they are. Just go out there, have fun. At the end of the day, this is a tough business, and guys forget that, we're playing a game that's actually pretty fun. So you go out there, continue to have fun, but also go out there and execute and do your job well.
Oh, yes. Playoff atmosphere. I was looking at the, for all you gamblers out there, I might try and do that tonight, first time. Riders still a 3-point favorite tonight in Calgary. 3 points. The over-under is 50. It was raining. It was pouring like crazy in Calgary this morning. If you are in Calgary and listening, you know what I'm talking about. I think it's supposed to clear up here for game time. Not supposed to be that bad. So the over under 50. Man, I don't know if I touched that one. I might walk away on that. I am taking the Riders to cover. Like Luke says, I don't know. We all want them to come out fast start. I don't know if that'll happen, but it's not the end of the world if they don't come out fast. The other thing, too, is Marc Mueller, first year, he came up beginning of the season, and people that were like losing their minds, sending into the Capital Ford Lincoln text line, which is always open. You can always send it in there, 306-936-6262, Capital Ford, number one Ford dealer in Saskatchewan. People were Mace, Mueller couldn't do anything wrong. Beginning of the year, we're out of the gate, we're winning. One loss, that Edmonton loss was Bush League. Like, that was probably the only loss, I've said it on here before, that they laid an egg. But that happens in football, in any sport, off game. The other ones, you're right in there. But Mueller goes from this genius, savant, to people asking for heads. And it's like, it's his first year. And the other coaches on the other team are game planning against. It's been a learning curve for both coaches. And they will tell you that probably at the end of the year, they're going to be very honest and say, yeah, I learned. I think Corey Mace, personally, when I watch it, I think he's learned about when to use the challenges, or he's learning when to use challenges. There's been a couple that have been suspect at best. Next time I interview him, I'm really curious to ask him, what have you learned? How does that process work? How fast is it? Who's making the call there? It's not just one guy. And like I always say, let's remember, this isn't a video game. This is real life. Things are moving fast. As for Mueller, he's still smart. And I think we're forgetting he knows a bit of this Calgary team going into this. Like when I was talking to Luke, you watch tendencies of players, defensive guys. They turn really well this way. Their hips, they move. They have a weak move here. You can maybe beat them here. They're susceptible here. Bite on this double move. Mueller's going to know some of this. And I think the week off for him, again, personally, just me, was huge. I would think that he took some date. We're going to hear from him right away here with Dave Thomas. Took some time off, but I got a feeling he schemed up and has some tricks up his sleeve, so to speak. Here's Mueller with Dave earlier this week.
Coach, I know the football season is a busy one, but you had a week off. How was the bye week?
It was nice. The day after our game in Winnipeg, we got to kind of take a day and stay with the family. And it was my wife's birthday the next day, so it was almost impossible to forget, which was nice because it was during the bye week. And we had a nice little dinner and things like that, and got to hang out with my family, my kids. Make sure that my son knows that I'm dad and not one of the grandpas that looks after him. So it was nice to at least take a breath. And then, one of the days I tried to finish all the stuff I was supposed to do at the house by the end of March, and I finally got some of them done. So I'm still behind. But, from a work standpoint, it was good. You got to try to figure out, what you're doing right, what you're doing not right, what you're good at, what you're not, and then why. And, you can look at all these reports. I think we get, sometimes people get all these, analytic reports and stuff like that. You got to watch. You can't just look at them. Oh, this is good. You know what I mean? So you got to look at them and you got to realize the reason why, because the answer's in the film, and it's always in the film, and the answer's always in the film for everybody.
I once was told that time is the devil's tool, and that you can start spending time on things that you shouldn't have when you have an abundance of it, or more than you used to. Agree?
It's a double-edged sword for sure. Sometimes when you have an extra day or not, you have time to think of more stuff to put in. You know what I mean? Like put too much stuff in. And when it's really it's about us at the end of the day and executing what we're supposed to do. And sometimes if you have too much, then it's gets in the way of being at full speed.
So when you went through that analysis, were you happy with what you saw?
There's some good, some bad. It's the same no matter what year you're in and what the record might be. There's always going to be things that you need to work on. And I thought we did a good job this week of understanding as a group what we needed to work on, and then we got better.
Obviously, there was a bit of a blow-up at practice, I think is one way to put it, or a practice pause is another way. How do you respond to it as a coach? Because obviously you're teammates are looking for your guidance and leadership.
Well, I think the number one thing is you have to understand that whatever we were doing that day was not good enough, and then it starts with everybody. The first person you should always look at is yourself, and you take it personally and you try to get better. And I think all of us did that. We, realized what we did yesterday wasn't good, and we came to today was a much better day.
Against the Calgary Stampeders, you had to have it circled on your calendar, didn't you?
Honestly, it was so much later in the year. You kind of get ready for the first 3 or 6 games, things like that in the off season. And it's always nice to go back, but we're going back for 2 days, and I'll see some of the people that I've spent lots and lots of time with, for the past 10 years. But I'll get to see them for like 30 seconds or 40 seconds, how they're doing, and then we're there to win a football game, and that's what it's about.
Obviously, it's a tight fraternity, the coaching ranks in the Canadian Football League. Is it hard to put that personal stuff aside? Because obviously you want your friends to succeed, but you want to succeed a little more.
Oh, for sure. And there's always 15 or 16 other games you can cheer for them. You know what I mean? So everyone understands. I mean, it's nothing is personal ever. It's always just competition. It's your job. It's why you're doing it. It's how your family eats and keeps the lights on. And, it doesn't matter what happens at the end of the day. You're still going to be friends or friendly with them after it.
When you're talking tendencies, obviously they know what you like to do, you know what they like to do, whether it's byproduct of you working with them or, of course, just seeing what your previous work has been over the last 16 weeks. So at this point, are there any secrets?
No, I think there's some things that might be you're recalling from earlier in the season, but at this point, if you don't have tendencies, you don't really have an identity either. So you want to be able to understand what your tendencies are, but you still got to be good at things at the same time, and that's a delicate balance.
What is the identity of your offense?
Well, I think right now we got to be able to be able to move the line of scrimmage, and protect the quarterback, and then after that, we have really good skill on the outside, and try to get those guys in the space and get them the ball.
How important, then, is making a statement early in this game to get your offense going against Calgary?
Yeah, I think anytime you can stay on the field, I mean, no matter who you're playing, the more plays you have, the better chance you have to score, right? So the more time that you're on the field and the more time they're not, the less chances they have to score as well. So you can control the ball, move the play. You got plays off of plays, so it's hard to set up plays unless you're on the field. So I think we've been good at that. The last couple of weeks of being it's kind of a start early, no matter what happens. You reload and you start the next drive fresh, and it's important to start fast and then to finish strong, but importantly just to be consistent throughout those up and down mountain peaks.
Well, here's to consistency against Calgary. Thanks for this, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to read more on that story, it's on sportscage.com. The other thing, too, I got to tease this. Justin Dunk and Wes Cates are going to have a very interesting, I haven't heard it, I'm very curious to hear it, too. Dunk's got like a two-parter. When it's a two-parter, it's good. He's got a two-parter with Coach Dickinson and his time in Saski. Now that he's there, are there, where's his emotions at? Have they subsided? Yeah, I'm just very curious to hear that's coming up with Justin Dunk here in the pregame show again. All that starts at 4:30 here on 620 CKRM today. This is an abbreviated Sports Cage. We have not forgot about amateur football and our high school football. When we come back, we're going Friday Night Lights for Regina Motor Products. We're going to give you the game of the night. Thanks to those that emailed in, Sportscage, hi@sportscage.com. Also going to run down what happened last night in QPAR. It is the all-new Sportscage. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Fort Capel area, Melville, and Yorkton, call Calvin at 99 Builders or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
Football fans, score $200 in free plays with PlayNow.com/Green200. PlayNow.com is fully operated by Sega, and whether you're a new player or already have a PlayNow account, you're eligible for a $100 sports free bet and a $100 casino free bet with a minimum $40 deposit when you enter promo code GREEN200. That's right. Visit PlayNow.com/Green200 today and enter promo code GREEN200 to redeem $200 in free plays. Must be 19 plus. Use your game sense.
For pizza lovers who are short on time and hungry for a great deal, Little Caesars Pizza is ready when you are. Walk in, grab your hot and ready favorites, and walk out. It's just that easy. Try the classic hot and ready medium pepperoni pizza for only $7.99. You get a delicious quality pizza at a great price. It's available all day, every day for just $7.99 at Little Caesars. And try other hot and ready favorites like their iconic Crazy Bread or Caesar Wings. Little Caesars Pizza, 20 years of hot and ready.
Meet your new favorite shade of green. At Nick's Service, we offer the Fendt 500 Vario Series tractor that's tailor-made for your farm. Get better stability, ease of use, and comfort with one tractor. Whether you're feeding, tilling, baling, or hauling, this series is built for your farm. Experience up to 163 horsepower with this multi-purpose tractor. Visit Nick's Service in Emerald Park or go to nicksservice.com to get a quote on the Fendt 500 Vario Series.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
The end of summer all-weather windows and door sale is on now at Fries Tallman. This is your opportunity to get 15% off select all-weather windows and doors. It's time for an upgrade that will save you money on all your heating bills this fall and winter. All-weather windows and doors offer energy efficiency and lasting value. Fries Tallman will even come out and measure windows for you. Visit FriesTallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel.
Fries Tallman. Let's get you building.
Fall is here and the water is fine. Water Vision Pool and Spas in Moose Jaw is your one-stop destination to relaxation. After a busy summer, the showroom is now fully restocked with hot tubs and accessories. In stock right now, brand new hot tubs starting at only $97.50. You won't find a deal like this anywhere. Once harvest is over, it's time to relax in your brand new Hydro Pool hot tub from Water Vision in Moose Jaw. Get in today while the selection is at its best. The water is calling. Maybe you should answer. Water Vision Pool and Spas, High Street, Moose Jaw.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
The all-new Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
On Rough Riders, plunge right through that line. March the ball on down the field, a touchdown every time. Oh, Rough Riders.
It's so catchy. And I think part of the reason why I wanted you to play that, because every time I hear that song, it's an earworm, as my wife says. I'll have that in my head all night, sitting, enjoying myself, watching the Rider game this evening. Guarantee that Rider tune will be. Did you ever figure out what year that's from?
I'm still looking.
Who is the original singer? And give him some credit. Give him some props. Yeah, it's got to be. Sounds very 40s-ish, maybe 50s. I feel like Hard Candy. What else did they do in the 40s? Went to the movie show. It's just an earworm, though. It's always going to be in my head for the rest of the night, guaranteed. Okay, it is that time. Thank you to everyone that's emailed in, hi@sportscage.com, to talk high school football and Friday Night Lights.
The all-new Sportscage is proud to present Friday Night Lights, our in-depth look at high school football across Saskatchewan. Friday Night Lights is brought to you by Regina Motor Products. Take advantage of their winter tire swap. Save up to $20. Book today.
Yeah, thanks to Regina Motor Products for hopping on this. Like I said yesterday, they just, as soon as it was like high school football, Saskatchewan, 6 aside, 9 aside, 12 aside, they're like, we're in. We love it. Okay, so we teed it up last night in Q Park. If you saw it on the Sportscage Twitter, the video of the Q Park football field with the portable lights, it looked awesome. Top notch. I was so jealous I was not there. I didn't see, I didn't see pictures of the chili. It was a big chili night out there. But yeah, bravo to everybody that's doing. We're going to get to the portable lights thing here in a second. But we got to mention the game yesterday, because they took the time to email it in. We're going to mention it. It was the Highway 22 Storm 42-8 over Wynyard. Clutch performer of the day for Nick's Service and Emerald Park. Our clutch performer goes to Jackson Ermel. We got props last week, too. 12 tackles for the Highway 22 Storm. So Jackson Ermel. Lucas Fry also getting a shout-out. He had 9 tackles. So big win for the Highway 22 Storm. Now, tonight's Friday Night Lights. They messaged us in. Actually, 2 people messaged us in on this one. We had to call to confirm, because I used to work down in this pocket of the world, the SWAC Conference, the Southwest Athletic Conference. It is Shaunavon hosting Maple Creek. Both of these teams are undefeated. 7 p.m. That's what we had to call and confirm, because I was like, Shaunavon have lights? This game's at 7 p.m. They must have lights, unless someone gave us erroneous information. It is a 7 o'clock kickoff in Shaunavon. And Shaunavon, they have supporters. They got portable lights. Just these communities. And I'm sure there's a bunch of sponsors behind the ones in Shaunavon as well. 2 undefeated teams in Shaunavon, Maple Creek, the Shadows, Shaunavon Shadows, Maple Creek. I can't remember what their team name is. 7 p.m. That's our Friday Night Lights for Regina Motor Products. Take advantage of their winter tire swap. Save $20. Book today. Thanks to Regina Motor Products for that. You want props for your high school team? You know what's going on? Hi at sportscage.com. Couple of other ones. Gull Lakes and Lumsden tonight. That's a big battle. 2-0 Moose Jaw Central is in Swift Current. Estevan is home to Yorkton. Go out and watch some high school football. Take the transistor radio with the earbuds. Listen to Luke and Dave and the Rider game. Make sure you take a Yeti, right? Got to be taking a Yeti, of course. I love it. High school football here on the Sports Cage this evening. As for us, like I said, 4:30, Justin Dunk and Wes are going to take over on 620 CKRM with the Croft Electric pregame show. Really curious on the interview with Coach Dickinson that Justin's going to run. And then kickoff 7:30 in Calgary tonight. The one thing I wanted to look up on what it costs to get into the game this evening. Obviously, it probably will be one of the biggest crowds of the year in Calgary with the Riders in town. I don't know. And then, the line. Riders minus 3-point favorites in this one. Hammertown on the Riders this evening. I can't even imagine. If the Riders don't win, and if they start slow, the people that have been losing their minds since Labor Day and before Labor Day and post Labor Day and Banjo Bowl, I don't know. Like I said, we'll be able to hear screams. Fast start is key, but it's not everything. Just chikai. It's going to be all right. So let him. If Harris gets time, he is going to sling it all over. That's my prediction. Don't have to believe me. Don't have to agree with me. I just feel if he gets the time, and then we're talking to Luke. We'll have the podcast up in a bit. Luke likes the Armstead move. He likes what he brings to the team. He can block. He can catch. Hard runner. So trust the process here. The coaches know more than us, right? Elsewhere in the CFL this weekend, though, like, I'm curious to talk to Farhan Lalji after 5 o'clock and get his what he thinks. But tomorrow, Winnipeg and Edmonton. Big Hill's out for the year with the Bombers. Strevler, he's a short yardage quarterback. He's out for the year. Caleros, you never know. And Edmonton is just an absolute buzzsaw right now. The Bombers are the -1.5 favorite. If I remember about this tomorrow, I will drill Edmonton to cover that. -1.5, a banged-up Bomber team going into Edmonton. Maybe still no respect for the Elks there. Montreal takes on Ottawa tomorrow. And the early one, starting here momentarily, the Sharky Chicken Wing Special, Hamilton and Toronto. Very good. They sold a lot of tickets for that game, I read today, in Toronto. The one, both sides are full, so they're trying to fill in the end zones. That wonky field that goes grass into different turf, and the just weirdness. It is the all news. Like I said, Farhan Lalji's coming up after 5 o'clock. Talk to him about a lot of CFL and NFL. It's the all-new Sportscage. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, and as always, on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
For pizza lovers who are short on time and hungry for a great deal, Little Caesars Pizza is ready when you are. Walk in, grab your hot and ready favorites, and walk out. It's just that easy. Try the classic hot and ready medium pepperoni pizza for only $7.99. You get a delicious quality pizza at a great price. It's available all day, every day for just $7.99 at Little Caesars. And try other hot and ready favorites like their iconic Crazy Bread or Caesar Wings. Little Caesars Pizza, 20 years of hot and ready.
On today's farms, a generator is a necessity. Whether you need to keep operating during an outage or you need to bring power to a remote location, you need a generator from Shorty Generators. They are the farm generator experts specializing in standby generators, mobile generators, and prime power generators. For any power you need on the farm, Shorty has the generator to run your equipment, and Shorty can service all makes and models of generators too. Call them today and be prepared. ShortyGenerators.ca.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every game, home or away. And don't wait for the last minute. Get in on the amazing early bird prizes. Everything raised is used to support minor football in Saskatchewan. Support a great cause and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Sponsored by ISC.
In town, at the cabin, or on the farm. Only one rural internet provider brings you a whole home solution. Access Rural Internet now offers download and upload speeds up to 350 megs for one low price. Plus, keep entertained with Access Next TV Stream and keep an eye on your home and property with Access Rural Security, each for just $14.95 a month extra. Get more from your rural internet service. Visit myaccess.ca today.
When you have a big job on the go, always head to Prairieland Rental for everything from skid steers to excavators to jackhammers. You'll get everything done with equipment just from Prairieland. You won't need to go anywhere else. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They're very local and very Sask. They appreciate your local business and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street. PrairielandRental.com.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all. At Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Radville-Weyburn area, call Darren and Claude at South Sask Builders. Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
The end of summer all-weather windows and door sale is on now at Freeze Tallman. This is your opportunity to get 15% off select all-weather windows and doors. It's time for an upgrade that will save you money on all your heating bills this fall and winter. All-weather windows and doors offer energy efficiency and lasting value. Freeze Tallman will even come out and measure windows for you. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel.
Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's mostly cloudy and it's 18 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op Liquor Store. Now open in Harbour Landing and on Rochdale Boulevard. And by Mercedes-Benz Regina. For those who can, Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. On Wednesday, Regina Police Service carried out its third all-out progressive policing initiative in the North Central and downtown neighborhoods. Over 120 officers participated, focusing on community engagement and enforcement. Officers visited 132 businesses and 37 residences, conducted 101 traffic stops, and issued 70 tickets. Additionally, 7 arrests were made with 4 warrant apprehensions. Graffiti and gang tagging were also addressed, identifying 51 incidents. This initiative, designed to build relationships and address community concerns, will continue in other neighborhoods with the goal of enhancing public safety and strengthening partnerships. The Langbank area in southeastern Saskatchewan on Wednesday had the third latest tornado in the province's history. Environment and Climate Change Canada released a list of the 9 latest confirmed tornadoes in Saskatchewan. September 26, 1977 in Plunkett still holds the record for the latest tornado in Saskatchewan, with Drake's September 20th, 1969 EF1 twister holding second place. The owners of Saskatoon's iconic riverboat say the 2025 season will be their last, and they're looking for someone else to take the helm. Mike and Joan Stecken have operated the Prairie Lily for 13 years, giving visitors and locals alike a rare view of the city from the water. For anyone looking to run their own cruising business, the couple has posted tips on the Prairie Lily website on everything from regulations and inspections to crew training and community partnerships. They say they're hoping a new owner will come forward and keep the Lily on the river. A new report from the Secret Service cites issues with communications and drone capabilities in Butler, Pennsylvania, where a would-be assassin fired in the direction of former President Donald Trump.
The acting Secret Service director says his agency failed to ensure that local law enforcement would fully protect the AGR building, which shooter Thomas Crooks used as a perch.
There was an assumption that they had it covered, but there clearly was not that follow-up to make sure.
Ronald Rowe also says agents relied too heavily on cell phones to communicate. He promises accountability, and he says the service will need more technological resources and more manpower.
We need a shift in paradigm and how we conduct our protective operations.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
And there's a bed recall in Canada and the U.S. because some sleepers fell out of them and were injured. Reporter Chuck Sivertson has the details.
Nearly 138,000 platform beds sold at major retailers, including Amazon and Walmart, are being recalled across the U.S. and Canada. People can fall and get hurt because the beds can sag, break, or collapse, say the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission and Health Canada. The brand is Lucid, and its Utah-based importer, CVB, is recalling the beds. There have been over 240 incidents with over a dozen injuries, say the regulators.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Weather is next.
I give it top marks.
An A+.
It's a 10 out of 10 for sure.
The $10 sale is on now.
At Sherwood Co-op Food Stores.
Offering more local products than any other grocery store.
And for this week only,
the brands your family craves at amazing stock your pantry prices.
Like $10 a pound.
2 items for $10.
5 items for $10.
Or an amazing 10 items for $10.
Stock your pantry. Save your cash.
The $10 sale on now till Wednesday.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Style. Performance.
Upgrade your daily driver to the new 2023 Mercedes-Benz GL B250. This SUV packs a punch with features that make a normal drive exhilarating. The ultimate in automotive luxury can be yours for $419 bi-weekly. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at Mercedes-Benz Regina will help you find the exact model you want. Take a test drive and feel the difference. Stop by for an award-winning experience at Mercedes-Benz Regina, recipient of the Star Dealer Award.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. For tonight, we're going to have some showers likely and then some isolated showers and a low of 7. Tomorrow, cloud mixing with sun and a high of 16. And on Sunday, mostly sunny and a high of 19. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy. Winds are from the northeast at 22, gusting to 35, and it's 20 degrees. Regina is also mostly cloudy. Winds are from the northeast at 24, gusting to 39, and it's 18 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Whether Smoky's after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We got a half hour left, and then we're handing it off to Justin Dunk and Wes Cates. It's the all-new Sports Cage. Barney Shinkaruk, Colson, and Curtis with you today. 4:30 starting, 7:30 kickoff right here on 620 CKRM. Back out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Of course, it's Friday. Always a perfect night for Western Pizza. That Greek goodness. If you want a little rib action, maybe souvlaki and a salad tonight, or just go pizza, all the generous toppings. Like I said, Sharky and I had one yesterday. Farhan Lalji is joining us. It's on Friday this week. Perfect, because we got so much football to talk about. Farhan, let's start with the Riders in Calgary. People here, I was just at a luncheon. They're talking must win. I'm like, well, it's just, I feel it's as close to as must, whatever is right behind must win, that's where we are. What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's probably a pretty good description. I mean, especially when you look at what's happened in Saskatchewan this week with their practices and Corey Mace on Tuesday just shredding his team, sending him off the field, getting into it with him a couple of times. And it is, right? And you're playing Calgary, which is as ordinary a team as there is in the CFL, right? I mean, that should be the game for you to stop the bleeding. You've got your former coach on the other side helping with the Stampeders and Craig Dickinson. But, you know, more importantly, this team for the third straight year has gone through this second half losing skid. And I look at the roster and I just think it's better. But you look at those offensive line injuries and injuries across the board. And, you know, if you're Saskatchewan fans, you're tired of hearing that excuse. You're just not into it anymore. They need to find a way to get into the playoffs. And it's got to start for them this week. So for Corey Mace, for his message to continue to stick, they need to find a way to have some success this week. And if you can't beat Calgary, I don't know who you're beating right now.
What's your take? A guy that watches all levels of football, you coach football. They bring in Armstead. He's fresh, right? Not a lot of practices. The running back position, you don't need to know a lot. Like, you need to know your lanes. You need to maybe know some blocking assignments. What's your take on that? Do you like it? that maybe they're sitting Hickson and they're going with this?
Feels like a desperation move to me, and I know that in a week you're playing Ottawa and you're looking ahead to that and what he could potentially bring, but Corey Mace talks a lot about culture, right? And Rock Armstead in Ottawa, they brought him in at the start and thought, I think the day they brought him in, the day the season started, they knew that they were on borrowed time, and that given his history and given what they'd seen to that point, that look, this guy's incredibly talented, but boy, let's see if he lasts the whole season, given what our expectations are. And so to bring him in, and he's going to be great at the beginning, right? His first few games and weeks are going to be great. But then after that, you'll wonder what happens when he gets comfortable. And I just don't know that it's a fit for what Corey Mace wants culture-wise. There is no doubt that this guy's got tremendous talent. He's a better running back than Frankie, but like Hickson's good in the room's not good enough. I understand that, but he's certainly not the problem with Saskatchewan right now and what's happening with that team. So it's a move that just feels desperate to me. It really, really does. And I say that not just today, but the day they signed him. So I think short term, it'll work itself out just fine. Long term, and when I say long term, I mean this season. We're not talking about next year. This season, it has the potential to blow up.
He's that guy that we see in the NHL, right? Like an Evander Kane comes in, it's awesome, everything's good, and then or Corey Perry's bounced around a bit too. There's always that guy. So that's a real interesting point. When you look at the game in general in these two teams, obviously Trevor Harris can sling it. If he's got time in the pocket. He's got some receivers that can catch the ball. When you look at the game and this matchup, what do the Riders have to do, you think, against Calgary?
Protect, right? That's the biggest thing right now. And I think that's been the issue for a little bit here with Trevor Harris, right? Just not having necessarily the time to do what he needs to do because of all those injuries along the offensive line. And you're right, they've got good pieces offensively. Armstead physically at least adds to those pieces. But I think the receiving core is good, and I think Trevor Harris still has some game left in him, right? So, people want to point to his age, and I just don't think that's it. I just think it's getting this guy protected. And whether you're Trevor Harris or even Zach Caleros, you've got to protect. So I think that's one. And I think the other one is who's going to win the turnover battle? Because if you're Calgary, you've had struggles in that area. In that last game against Montreal, they were better. Jake Mayer protected it better. But you don't have to go too far back to a game when he was spilling the ball everywhere. So if you're Saskatchewan, in the first half of the season, you were feasting off turnovers, and turnovers are finicky, right? You're not always going to be able to generate them at that level. So they were giving up yards, but they were stiffening up and controlling the damage because of the amount of turnovers they were able to generate. Can they get back to that? With a Jake Mayer who has a propensity to do that, even though last week is better. So the turnover battle is also going to be key.
How are you pretty intrigued about the Winnipeg Edmonton matchup as well? Like, I think these back-to-backs and these two teams, and I can't believe that we're talking that Edmonton could be the hottest team not only in the West and the CFL, but that matchup on Sunday, super intriguing.
Completely, and I always chuckle at the idea that when a team struggles out of the gate, they always point to the 2011 BC Lions, right? Team that was 0-5 to start, 1-6 to start, and they go on to not just to win the Grey Cup, but to host the West Final, to have the MOP, and to win the Grey Cup. And so I chuckled when Giroy trotted that out there this year, and it's worked for him. But the truth is, Giroy trotted out that last year, and it didn't work for him, right? So it's working for him now. And you talk about a team that has a fantastic locker room and a real belief. And when I look at Winnipeg right now, I see an average football team. Like, I see a team that's very good on defense, but offensively haven't figured it out yet. And, we thought when Kenny Lawler would come back, they would immediately figure it out. When Lucky Whitehead came back, they were immediately going to figure it out. And they're winning games, right? And they don't make the mistakes. You talk about teams that find ways to lose, like Saskatchewan and Calgary have done of late. And Winnipeg doesn't have that, right? Because they just don't have those kinds of habits. But in terms of just, being able to function with every facet of your game going, I think there's some concerns there because offensively they haven't figured it out. And, I don't think Chris Streveler is a big piece of what they do on a down-by-down basis, but certainly in the short yardage game, he's important to them. He adds to the run game when he comes in as a changeup, so losing that also hurts. You lost Joel Atarski again this week. So I think Winnipeg is ripe for the picking, and I think Edmonton can pick them off once or twice.
Yeah.
Like if you told me they were going to win the series, that wouldn't shock me, to be quite honest.
Shift to the NFL. I guess we could start with the 2-0 teams, and some of them are surprising. But let's start with the Ravens Cowboys. Who's more desperate in this game? And we're only into week 3.
They're both hugely desperate, but and they both have championship expectations. The difference is the only people who thought the Cowboys had championship expectations were Cowboys fans, right? Whereas around the league, I think everybody thought that Baltimore was a team ready to go, and if Lamar Jackson could be himself, and they've added Derrick Henry, and that's a championship level defense. I think they're the bigger surprise. I did think it was going to take some time for them to figure out how to use Henry, because it felt like square peg round hole, just in terms of his running style and volume required versus how Baltimore likes to run the football with Lamar Jackson. So, and they almost won that first game on opening night on the Thursday. And, I just think the ceiling is higher. I look at Dallas and people are excited that they got CeeDee Lamb signed and that they got Dak Prescott signed. But at the end of the day, those weren't additions, right?
Yeah.
And when I look at that team, I see CeeDee Lamb and 0 additional offensive weapons, right? Like there's no running back that scares you. Jake Ferguson's a solid tight end. And they got all the receivers. Like Brandon Cooks is fine. Like they got some guys that are fine. But, if you put Brandon Cooks on the scale of second receivers, where would he rank in the NFL in terms of WR2s? And I'm not talking about fantasy. I'm talking about actual football. So I just think that Dallas, there's always pressure in Dallas. And if you're Mike McCarthy, there's pressure for you. So there is a level of desperation there. But I got to pick Baltimore. I just think they're the better football team. And if they can play the way we expect them to defensively and take away CeeDee Lamb, who's now healthy and is going to play in this game, I don't see them losing this one.
Chiefs-Falcons. Falcons coming off what they did against the Eagles, which was impressive. There's no doubt about it. The Chiefs could be very easily 0-2. And they're going into Atlanta, and they're 3-point favorites. Maybe it's just me being such an anti-Chiefs and more of a Patriots guy. I just don't know if.
Oh, dude!
I
can't believe you and I get along.
But I just don't. I think the Chiefs could lose this game in Atlanta.
I think the Chiefs can lose any game, but they're going to continue to win almost every game because that's what they do. And we talk about winning habits, and they have that. They've got the best player on the planet. They find ways to make that play at that time. Now, I think losing Isaiah Pacheco is a big loss for them, right? He is a violent runner. And, we've got a trend league-wide right now, right? And it really goes back last year. When you look at the number of NFL weekends and you go through the winning quarterbacks and see the number that have fewer than 200 yards passing, it's shocking. And it's because we're seeing in the CFL and the NFL now that everybody just wants to keep everything in front of them and force teams to be patient and dink and dunk. And that's what people are getting Kansas City to do. Well, guess what? Kansas City will play it whatever way you want, right? Like they just have that in them. Now, if you look at that Atlanta game and what the expectations are for the Falcons, they got fortunate, right? I mean, Philadelphia made a coaching error at the end of that game that gave Atlanta some life, and then they had one good drive. But up until then, I got to be honest, looking at that game through 3 quarters, I'm thinking, my guy Michael Penix is going to be playing soon for the Atlanta Falcons. And, and all of a sudden, Cousins pulls off that big drive. Didn't scream you like that, but you like that if you're a Falcons fan. So Atlanta hasn't taken off offensively the way they need to. That's an offensive-driven football team when you look at those pieces and Kirk Cousins at quarterback. So until they get their offense figured out, the Chiefs should be favorites because they just seem to find a way to play whatever style you want and still win at the end.
I think the drive at the end is Philadelphia coaching issues as well. Like, how aren't you pressuring there? How are you just basically sitting back and letting him pick apart? Here's a question that Sharky and I talked about yesterday. Any chance that we could see Bill Belichick coaching the Eagles by the end of the year?
No.
Could
you see Bill Belichick coaching again next year? You could. And could Philadelphia be that fit, right, with Jeffrey Lurie and the bold moves he tries to make? You potentially could. I just don't know that it happens at the end of the year because the question becomes, is Bill Belichick ready to coach without personnel control? And that's just not going to happen mid-season, right? Like the Eagles aren't going to hand him that control mid-season. They might give him the coaching reins mid-season, but I think if you want to make that big decision to give it all to him, you got to wait until the offseason to do that, unless Belichick steps back and says, I'm willing to just be the coach.
Okay, I'll let you pick which one you want to talk about.
Look, you're a Patriots guy, so you're obviously a Bill Belichick guy. The reason why I love Andy Reid,
I'm not.
Just for the record, I love Andy Reid because he took us away from Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Right? Because we got to stop talking about Bill Belichick and having to deal with Bill Belichick in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, thanks to Andy Reid. So I'll always love Andy Reid, regardless of where he coaches.
I'm not
don't you love watching Belichick on TV?
I'm just not a big fan. I was always a Brady guy. I think Belichick, I think the game's passed him by, and he wants these controls that he shouldn't have anymore, that other people should have.
Right.
Okay, which of these two games, which one do you want to talk about? I think they're extremely intriguing matchups.
Okay.
Eagles, Saints, or Texans, Vikings?
Texans, Vikings. The Eagles and the Saints, I like Jalen Hurts. I totally roll my eyes at Nick Sirianni. And I think the Saints are going to be able to keep their lightning in a bottle going for a little bit here. Carr's doing well, and Alvin Kamara's back on his game, and there's a ton of weapons there. But when you look at that other game with the Titans and the Vikings and the Texans, Kevin O'Connell is an outstanding football coach, just outstanding. Like the smartest thing that organization did was give him the job 2 years ago and not Jim Harbaugh, because that guy's a phony. And so O'Connell is making it work with Sam Darnold, and Justin Jefferson's hurt, right? So he's kind of been in and out a little bit, and they're finding ways to make it work. And the Texans, I thought they were going to be that team that was ripe for regression, and I'm seeing really good things again from them, and I think they can take the next step. So, you talk about two coaches and two teams that are completely bought into what's going on. I think that's going to be a fascinating game, and whether or not Sam Darnold and that offense can handle the the Texans defense, which is playing at a really high level right now.
Okay. I know it's Friday afternoon, but I'm just drinking coffee here. There's no gas leak that I know of in this studio. Why do I feel that the trap game is the Panthers and the Red Rifle going into Las Vegas after that win? Why do I feel like Vegas might just lay an egg?
So when you say trap game, just a team where you're absolutely expecting the Raiders to win, and you think this team that's floundering and the Panthers can come in and take it? Yeah, we haven't seen enough from the Raiders that they should be a lock for anything, for any week, right? A team that's limited offensively in terms of its weapons, in terms of its quarterback play. I could totally see that happening. Now, look, I'm not a big Andy Dalton guy, and I think the Panthers made a mistake with how they've handled their quarterback situation last year and this year with Bryce Young. But could they go in and find a way to beat Vegas? Sure they could. Vegas is ordinary, and offensively they're absolutely capable of laying an egg.
Bryce Young or Jamarcus Russell? Worst first overall pick?
Jamarcus Russell.
Still? Okay.
Jamarcus, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and because when you look at his limited sample size when they picked him, and Al Davis's fascination with big arm, deep ball, it made no sense to take him where they did, given, that body of work, in my opinion. Bryce Young's a good football player. He's just been completely mishandled to this point by a staff that doesn't know what the hell it's doing. So for me, it's always difficult to be the number one pick of the worst team in the league, right? Where your coach is hanging on, right?
Yeah.
So they make short-term decisions in a bit of a vacuum. Bryce Young, if he gets into the right situation with the right people, could still be a very, very good quarterback.
Curious on that. Okay, let's close on the game you're going to. Miami.
Yeah.
The unfortunate situation there for all you Dolphins fans.
Yeah.
Into Seattle. I think Seattle covers at -4.5. They're home. Tough to win there with Miami. You're on par with that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for Skylar Thompson to roll in there. No Raheem Mostert, and come up with a win. Seattle is playing well. They're playing extremely. They're tough to beat at home. At the worst of times, right? And you've got Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator for Seattle right now, picking up where he left off at the University of Washington with what he's doing, not just for Geno Smith, but for DK Metcalf. And for my money coming into the year, I felt DK Metcalf is the most overrated receiver in the NFL, right? Completely limited with what he is asked to do, in terms of what he's not asked to do, but what he's capable of doing with that route tree. And, and he's going to get the bag next year, and I never got it. He's never taken over games. And then last week, Seattle winds up with 2 receivers with 10-plus receptions and over 100 yards each. And that doesn't happen. And it's just because of what they're able to do schematically and the way they're able to protect what's a really average and banged-up offensive line. So, I can't see that quarterback situation, that offensive situation, even with McDaniel, calling the plays. I just don't think that's going to go to a good place for Miami right now, and Seattle will win and cover.
Okay, I lied. One more. Should New York Jet fans be booking Super Bowl trip yet, or no? No. They just beat the Patriots. They just beat the Patriots. So I think there's going to be a lot of this in New York with that team. But at least that team has the ability to do this, whereas the other team in that city is going to stay down here. The Giants are going to be terrible. So, can the Jets make the playoffs? Sure. Are they a contender for the Super Bowl? Hell no. Right on. Okay, well, have fun coaching. Have fun in Seattle this weekend. Let's catch up next week.
Can't wait. See you, bud.
Right on. Farhan Lalji from TSN joining us here on the all-new Sports Cage. If you're watching on the stream, sportscage.com, or, as always, on 620 CKRM. That's right. Okay, so that's it for me. Abbreviated Sports Cage show. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in. Friday Night Lights, Sean of Maple Creek. Have fun out there. Rider fans, it starts right now. Justin Dunk, West Cates. Go Riders. Talk to you Monday.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right.